TVGuide.com declared Jenifer Lewis a national treasure. The acclaimed actress, singer, comedian, and activist has one of the most recognizable voices in Hollywood.
Listen, precious, listen.
Her role as Ruby Johnson on the hit ABC sitcom Blackish has given the entertainer a level of success she has worked on achieving for decades.
All of this, I had no idea.
And yet, it almost didn't happen. Just before Blackish, I found out that you thought about quitting the business.
Absolutely. I was going to retire. I had auditioned for 2 HBO shows, I believe, and I didn't get them. And I was like, I don't think I want anybody else to tell me that I'm not talented enough for a gig. So I got a little hanky, and I said, I'm going to retire. Child, please. To retire from show business would be to retire from the act of breathing. I love what I do.
Something else I found interesting. So there's this big build-up to Jenifer Lewis joining Blackish. Mm-hmm. You do the Jenifer Lewis walk onto the set.
Yeah.
You get to the set and you freeze. What happened?
I've done, 68 movies.
Yeah, 450?
460 now.
Oh,
Because
wow.
Blackish, 460 episodic television shows.
4
Broadway
plays?
shows.
Okay.
Oh, you did your homework. I was nervous. There, the great Jenifer Lewis, afraid of television, because I had done film for, I think, 6 years, no television. And to be called back to the small screen was shocking. And
So what happened? The director
well,
said...
I forgot my line, and I was forgiven, of course, because I am Jenifer Lewis.
Of course. The role has cemented her status as a mother of Black Hollywood, which, by the way, is the title of her new book. In it, she tells the stories of her life in show business and growing up in extreme poverty, the baby of 7 in Kinloch, a small town on the outskirts of St. Louis, Missouri.
My mother, of course, raised us alone. My father was nearby, but certainly not present. Lived in poverty and everything that comes with it, including the molestations, the abuse, the lack of attention. My mother was a domestic, scrubbing white people's toilets, and come home and had to iron all of our clothes and feed us all the government food that was given to us. We're on welfare. But then my mother got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And she went and became a nurse's aide at the St. Louis County Hospital for 25 years. And white people never came to our door again to inspect the house.
When she graduated from Webster University in 1979 and moved to New York City, she got her first job on Broadway in less than 2 weeks. Then a gig singing backup for Bette Midler. What followed were TV acting roles on shows like Murphy Brown, A Different World, and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Lewis is one of the biggest sing-stillers in the business, and she knows it. Acting alongside dozens of big stars in all sorts of movies. But why acting? Why entertainment?
Oh, I was already a fool. Oh, no, honey. I sang my first solo when I was 5 years old in church. And from the reaction of the congregation, I knew in that moment what I was going to be. I was going to be an entertainer. I wanted people to stand up and applaud me for the rest of my life because the love that came over the pews that fine Sunday morning, I stood there and I said out loud to myself, oh, this is life.
I want to talk about a couple of the films that you were in, and one of them is Poetic Justice because Tupac and Janet Jackson were starring.
The LA riots had just happened, and we were all on edge. John Singleton was directing, and Tupac was in his trailer. I wanted to rehearse Tupac, Snoopac, or Lupac. I didn't care who you were. I'm Jenifer Lewis, we're rehearsing. Well, he turned out to be a gentleman, just as sweet as he could be. The room was filled with weed. So much weed came out of that trailer. I was like, oh my God. But I went in and I was really staunch. I said, Okay, y'all clear out because he's going to rehearse. Silence. I knew I was going to be killed. Well, I wasn't killed. He was like, yeah, come on in, mama, come on. And he was brilliant in the scene. He really was. I was very impressed. He was ready. He was professional. He was a gentleman.
What's love got to do with it?
What's love got to do with it? Lawrence Fishburne.
And Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett, absolutely. Angela just turned 60. I'm 61. They had this thing on the internet with both of us looking good in our 60s. Okay, she looks better. Okay, but anyway, she'll love it. She'll laugh. So the first table read, Lawrence Fishburne and I, like...
And when did he become Lawrence anyway? Wasn't he Larry?
Well, he was Larry then. Yeah, but he's Lawrence now, honey. Look, with as many jobs as he's done, he can be Sir Lawrence, okay? It took me a minute to get used to Lawrence. But I complied, if that's what he wanted. Honey, that's Morpheus. You call Morpheus whatever he wants to be called, okay? You want the blue pill or the red pill? But anyway, Lawrence and I locked eyes at the very first table read. And I was in love with someone, and I knew his girlfriend. But we locked eyes nonetheless. I mean, you know, come on, there's some powerful stuff going on there. Well, so what is this? Is this television or?
It's TV.
It's television? Oh, well, I can't tell this story. Well, nothing happened, but we became sister and brother. But I did have to put him in his place. You know men, and let's face it, I was a knockout back then. That's what I call good looking.
Jokes aside, Lewis struck a sad and serious tone for a second as she recalled starring with Whitney Houston in the 1996 film, The Preacher's Wife.
I believe in you and me. I believe that we will be.
I can't still I can't talk about her.
Well, as far as I can see.
Even now.
You will always be the
Well, I'll put it to you like this. Sitting there in that church and watching her sing gospel. I told the journalist that her voice was truly the eighth wonder of the world. It was a sight to see, my friend.
So she was singing live.
Oh, she was live, baby. And it was beautiful. And of course, I tried to get Whitney into therapy. Everybody knows that. It's in my book. And I loved her, is all I can really tell you. I loved her deeply.
Therapy was something Lewis became quite familiar with as she spent years dealing with her own challenges.
I'm Jenifer Lewis. There's nothing wrong with me. Oh, but there was so much.
When did you first know something wasn't quite right, that you were discovering that you had this bipolar disorder?
Well, yeah, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, oh my God, I think it was 93. Anyway, I get the years mixed up, but the bottom line is I went and took care of myself. When people realize that something is wrong, they usually run from it. Don't run from it. Face it. Look in the mirror and say something's wrong, and go and take care of it, because the extremes of this mental disorder is no joke. The mania, which is the high, is very dangerous. Oh, I wanted to quit. I did. That's hard work. To go and tell somebody my mama abused me, the pastor of my church molested me, I had 2 abortions, this happened. Who gonna go around and tell all their business? Well, I did for you. I know who I am with such gratitude. I am unafraid.
Unafraid and unapologetic. It's obvious her humor and dramatic nature attracts fans. But it's her truth that keeps them captivated, even when the truth hurts.
I have, should I say, I have bipolar disorder, and I know what mental illness looks like. Oh, I'm very, very, very bold. And I want to say to the camera right now, and I hope that you air this, I want to say to the administration, and particularly the President of the United States, he said today the nation apologizes to Kavanaugh. We apologize to no one for nothing. You will not take away the legitimacy of our molestation. You will not minimalize what happens to young women and little boys. I've stayed in therapy 17 years to be able to express my own molestation.
I'm out here in the trenches. I'm not just selling books.
Speaking to a standing room only crowd at the historic Harris Stowe University in St. Louis,
They couldn't stand me when I was a little baby. They love me now.
Lewis told them she came to slay.
Yeah, I'm gonna cuss her out. I see now. I told Fantasia, I said, if you don't take us to church, I'll stab you 14 times. And Fantasia said, oh, Miss Lewis, don't make me laugh. I ain't never seen nobody change clothes in the casket. Did I sleep with you? I don't know. Let me go see. You will not let racism keep you from your dream.
And you were affected quite a bit with Ferguson as well, happening
Oh,
right
absolutely. Ferguson, of course, lies on the border of Kinloch, and even as a little girl, I was warned never to go there alone.
On the internet, she sparked a bit of controversy in September of 2018 when she landed on the Emmys red carpet in this outfit. And that Nike outfit that you wore to the Emmys was part of that.
Well, I was on the internet, and an old video of Trayvon Martin's mother crying is what I saw. And I went and took some laps in my pool. And as I was swimming, I was thinking, what can I do that is more meaningful than what I am doing? And I'm doing a lot. I got out of the pool, I dried off, I drove to the Nike store, I picked it up because I was going to support Kaepernick. We need to all take a knee. Our ancestors took 2 knees and 2 hands.
At 61 years old, Jenifer Jeanette Lewis has seen a lot and takes nothing for granted. What she has learned along the way, she says she owes it to the world to share. In the last lines of her new book, she pleads with her fans, don't let me have bared my soul for nothing. Ain't nobody got time for that in these streets. And remember that song she sang at 5 years old? Well, here it is. It's called You Brought Me a Mighty Long Way.
Whoa, you brought me a mighty long way.
Oh, yes. Hallelujah.